I'm Andrea Giles, and you're listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, episode number 27, Discomfort Tolerance. Hello, and welcome to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, where courageous women learn not only to heal from their spouse's betrayal, but to become the boldest, truest, most decisive, and confident versions of themselves ever. If you know there's more for you than the life you're currently living, but don't quite know how to get there, you are in the right place. Stick around to learn how to create a life that will knock your own socks off. Is it possible? It is, and I'm here to show you how. I'm your host, Andrea Giles. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hi, friends. I am back again, ready to record episode number 27. Today, we're going to talk about discomfort tolerance. And I tell you what, I went round and round with what to title this podcast. I even asked my husband, and you just got to listen, okay, to know what I'm talking about. Today, we're talking about increasing our tolerance to discomfort. That's what we're going to talk about. But before I jump in, I want to just say thank you so much for the shares, the reviews. Did you know that between December and January, my little podcast jumped by 400%? 400%. People are sharing. People are telling people about it. Also, just in the last couple weeks, many of you have left reviews. Thank you so much for taking the time to leave a review. Not only does it help people find it, it helps people go to it, it gives credibility to it, it makes it show up higher in charts so people can see it and go, oh, I want to listen to that. But you know what? On a personal note, I can't tell you how fun it is to read your reviews, because I know that there are many of you out there listening, but I don't know all of you. I wish I did. And it just is awesome to go in and see your reviews and see where it's helping you. And it just means the world. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to leave the reviews. Also, some of you have reached out and asked me for things that you want help with. Thank you. I welcome that. Things that you'd love for me to cover in upcoming podcasts. And I promise you that I listen and I hear you, and they're coming, okay? The things that you've asked me to talk about, they're coming. So today we're talking about growing our discomfort tolerance, okay? Before I dive in, I want to ask you for you to think of a time when you were pretty sure you couldn't do something, thought it was too hard, too painful, and then you proved yourself wrong and you did it. Every one of you who is listening right now, I promise you, if you go back into your life and look at the different things that have happened in your life, you will be able to pinpoint a time where this has been true for you. If you need to pause the podcast while you think back, do it. I want you to think of a time, and I'll come back to it later. So, something I see in my coaching practice when people first start working with me is that they think that they either have to leave the marriage or be all in on the marriage, like, okay, I guess I'm staying, even if I'm not really comfortable, for them to be able to move forward. They think that they need to be able to not ever think of the other woman. They need to not say hard things and just kind of go along with it in order to keep the peace and keep the marriage. And that feels really painful. And the other thing that feels really painful is, I guess I just have to leave so I can stop hurting so bad. Like, it becomes very black and white in their brain. Like, either I have to suck it up and stay and kind of mute myself in order to keep the peace here, or I have to leave, and there is no middle ground. They believe sometimes that they can't stand in a conversation without shrinking, without feeling small. It feels too hard, too painful. So often they just want to leave in hopes that it will give them some quick relief. It can also feel really desperate. Like, I can't handle this pain for one more second. If it means leaving so I can feel better, then I'm out. Sometimes it means I don't want to feel this pain for one more second, so I'm just going to put my head down and keep moving forward and stop thinking about it and just kind of pretend like things are going to be fine, like things are fine, because the pain of looking at the truth hurts too bad. They might believe that the thought of getting married again, dating again, anything like that is impossible because the risk of getting hurt again is too painful to think about. And so again, that all or nothing, black and white thinking, I'm just not going to date then. Like this is for my clients where they already have decided to get divorced or their spouse has left them and they are just like, nope, not doing it. I'd rather stay here, safely here, and not risk getting hurt again, and don't even want to consider the option of dating again, right? They might think, how could I possibly date again if I don't even trust myself? If I don't trust myself, how on earth can I trust somebody else? How can I be vulnerable with anybody else if I have a hard time being vulnerable with me? I might get rejected, right? All of these questions, I get them. I relate to many of those. I remember feeling those same ways. I remember when I first started dating, going, who in their right mind would want to marry a divorced woman with 6 children? Like, who would choose that on purpose? And clearly, I moved past that, right? I'm married to a wonderful man who loves me and loves my kids. But what we tend to do is go to this very black or white thinking that it has to be this way or it has to be that way. And it makes sense, right? Our brains love to be certain. Our brains love to know. Our brains love to know what's going on, how things are going to end, even if it feels awful. Like even if the thought of like being alone forever feels terrible, it feels better in the moment than like that free fall of vulnerability, kind of feeling like you're standing naked in front of the world to reject you. That's what dating can feel like to a lot of people. Leaving the marriage might seem like the easier option than staying in the marriage and doing the hard work of building marriage number 2, right? With the same person. But guess what? What if our greatest growth is somewhere right in the middle? What if it's not in the black and white? It's in the middle. It's in growing our tolerance to the nature of growth, the nature of pain, growing our tolerance to it. I'm going to give you an example. So I was a young mom. I became a mom when I was 21, and I wanted to have a natural childbirth. I didn't want to have an epidural. I wanted to know what it felt like to have a baby, to let my body do its thing. Well, I went into labor, and as it got more and more intense, I'm like, what am I doing? I don't want to do this, and felt very, very panicked. I remember crying, feeling really, really panicked. And the nurse gave me, I can't remember, some kind of medication just to calm me down because I was feeling really panicked. I ended up not having an epidural. I stuck to that, but it was kind of rough. Like I felt a lot of fear throughout the process. I felt a lot of kind of looking outside me for people to tell me that it would be okay. Second time around with my daughter, I did the same thing. I decided not to have an epidural. And this time, I still felt a little panicked. I still felt like I needed the people outside me, around me, to tell me that I was going to be okay. Again, they gave me like a low dose of some kind of thing to relax me. Again, I had her with no epidural. Baby number 3, I went into the hospital. I was in labor. I'm like, give me the drugs. Give me the epidural. Not feeling it this time. Like I had not really done any preparation to prepare for labor. I just was not in the headspace and decided that I was just going to have an epidural. Baby number 4, I decided that I was going to have a different experience altogether. I decided that I was going to learn how to respond to my body. I was going to learn how to trust my body. I was going to learn how to be present with everything that was going on and not be afraid of it. So with him, my son, ironically, as the day that I'm recording this is my son's birthday. He's now 15. It's his birthday today. Anyway, when I went into labor with him, I was prepared. I had taken some hypnobirthing classes to teach me how to manage my mind, how to go back inside my body, how to breathe. And I had the most powerful labor. I had a labor he was born in had a water birth. He was born in a big water thing. I'm forgetting the right word. But I had a water birth with him. And when I started to feel some of that kind of panic and, I don't know how to do this, I just grounded back into myself, back into my body. What do I know? My body knows how to have a baby. My body knows what to do. What else do I know? I know how to breathe. I know how to rest. I know how to close my eyes. I know how to relax. I know how to let my body move. And so with that little boy, who was my biggest baby, I had the most powerful, beautiful labor. And I was very calm throughout the entire process. In fact, the person who delivered the baby said that she had delivered several thousand babies and had never seen anyone as calm as me. What? That was pretty cool to hear because I knew the difference, right? I had different experiences before where I was not calm. Now, the nature of childbirth has never changed. Childbirth will never be particularly comfortable when you think about what actually happens to the body in childbirth, right? It will never change. Babies will never miraculously just show up. Labor will always be a thing. Now, yes, as medicine has progressed, we have different options, right? We have epidurals and all those things, which is wonderful, right? But the nature itself of childbirth is the same as it was, years and years ago, thousands of years ago. So the nature of the situation did not change. My capacity to tolerate pain changed. My capacity to surrender to it. My capacity to breathe into it rather than resisting it and avoiding it and wishing it would just go away. I breathed into it. I leaned into it. I'm like, here we go. This is what we're doing now. I grounded into myself, into my body, into my own wisdom instead of looking externally for somebody to help, for somebody to fix it. I trusted me. I trusted that the discomfort that I was feeling was intentional and serving a purpose to get a baby out of my body, right? Okay, so that is what I'm talking about today. We often believe that we need to change the circumstance to feel better. If my husband would just stop doing this, if he would stop asking me this, if I would stop feeling this way, if I would stop feeling jealous, if I could just stop feeling inadequate, maybe I need to leave the relationship for me to stop feeling like a failure or feeling like I'm not enough. Maybe I just need to not talk to him and not talk about the infidelity so I can feel better. And what I'm suggesting instead is leaning in. So I'm going to give you some examples of clients that I'm currently working with and what this looks like for them. I have one client who is currently going through divorce. It was her husband's choice to end the marriage, and a situation arose with a custody situation. And in times past, she has thought that if I actually say what I want and speak up, he's going to say all of these things to me. He's going to make me feel this way. I'll feel this way. I don't want to feel that way, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and let him kind of do what he wants to do. Instead, after working with me, I have helped her to see that what she wants matters and that the things that she wants matters actually are leading her to becoming the person that has that thing. So when her leaning into the situation that she truly thinks is actually best for everybody involved, it means that she's leaning into discomfort. It means that she's leaning into growth. And she went ahead and she decided that she was willing to feel that discomfort in service of the thing that she actually thought was best. And the thing that happened is really a miracle. What happened is because she showed up in a different way, her soon-to-be ex-husband showed up in a different way. He's starting to speak to her differently because she is showing up differently. The nature of the conversation and doing the hard thing here didn't change, right? It still felt hard to her, showing up, speaking up. But she opened up to growing her capacity to feel discomfort, and she's increasing her own tolerance to discomfort. She's growing her own tolerance to it. She's saying, this discomfort that I'm leaning into is in service of what I'm trying to create, even as a relationship with her soon-to-be ex-husband going forward. This is in service of that relationship, me leaning in instead of backing off, okay? Another client is wanting to keep the marriage together, but she's been trying a different approach to conversations with her husband. In the past, when things are brought up that are uncomfortable, usually the pattern is that one of them or both of them shuts down, gets out of the conversation, as quickly as possible and shelves the issues. It often has been her that's bringing up the uncomfortable issues and then retreating when it gets too hot, backing off. But she has been practicing staying with the discomfort. She's not blaming him for her discomfort. She's not mad at the discomfort for being there. She's not avoiding it. She's not resisting it. She's not trying to fix his discomfort. She's not scrambling to try to put out fires and make him feel better so she can feel better. She's handing to him his feelings, and she's taking responsibility for her own. She's taking responsibility by allowing herself to feel in the first place and not shoving down, pushing away the feelings that she is experiencing. She's allowing it. She's growing her capacity to feel discomfort. She's growing her capacity to feel, period. She's making space for it. She's making space where things can be said. She's helping make space where there's safety to express how you really feel without being crippled by what the response might be. It's taking ownership. It's all about creating emotional resiliency, growing your emotional resiliency. So I'm sure you've heard of Ralph Waldo Emerson, and he had this to say: "That which we persist in doing becomes easier. Not that the nature of the task has changed, but our ability to do has increased." Our ability, the nature of it hasn't changed. You have changed. Your capacity, your growth. You've stepped into a new place where you can be there and handle it without retreating, where you can feel the discomfort and stay standing and not retreating, okay? So back to the question I asked at the beginning. Did you think of something that you couldn't do until you could? Something that you said you couldn't do until one day you could do it? How did you do it? I want you to learn from yourself. I have that labor story in my back pocket for when I feel like I can't do something. I remind myself that I did the thing that I thought I couldn't do. Go through labor, calm as day. I did that. Our brains are really good at lying to us. They want to keep us safe. They want to conserve energy. If our brain feels like we're being chased by a bear, think how uncomfortable our brain would be if we think of going back to the bear and asking it why it's chasing us, right? Our brains can be like, no, get away, run, run, run. What you're doing is you're looking at those things that feel threatening like a bear, and you are asking questions. You are asking why it's there. Where is my growth here? What do I need to hear? Now, you hear me say this a lot. You'll hear me say it over and over again. If you are in physical danger or being abused in some way, this is not what I'm referring to. If you actually are being abused, if you really are in danger in some way, I encourage you to get yourself to safety. Okay? That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the threats that our brain gives us, that we are in danger, that we're going to get hurt. Sometimes it feels like we're going to die when we're not actually in immediate danger. It's just a story that our brain is telling us. But if you lean into it, if you allow yourself to feel the discomfort and lean into the conversations, lean into the things that you think you can't do, you'll learn emotional resiliency. You'll learn emotional adulthood. You'll learn how to regulate your emotions. You'll learn how to be a person that sits with really negative emotion without feeling like you need to react to it. You'll build self-trust. It'll build this foundation of self-trust, brick by brick, that no matter what happens in life, you've got you. How powerful is that? No matter what, you've got your own back. You'll also build your skill of asking good questions. For example, a lot of my clients really feel an urge to know, they want to know every single detail of what happened. They want to know all the details, when the conversations were had, what exactly happened and when and where, all the details. What this means, what this work is, it's caring less about all the details. There is a place for that, but sometimes it can become a thing that's just excruciatingly painful without any real usefulness behind it. I'm more interested in why. This leaning into this curiosity and growth and asking good questions, it's less about the things they did and more about why they did them. It's getting to the root of it, getting to the truth. It's allowing the space where you can hear and understand. You don't have to agree. You don't have to stay, right? But it's giving you information and wisdom and knowledge so you can choose from a higher place. You're not like, it's so painful here that I must leave immediately. It's more like, okay, I see what's going on now and I'm choosing to leave or I'm choosing to stay. And this is why. You get to look at your own fears, what you are afraid of. What is it that you're afraid of? Leaning into those things. I want you to make sure that you go back to a time in your life where you did this, where you had a story in your head of something that you really wanted, an ability you wanted, a skill you wanted, something you wanted to do that you really felt in the moment like you could not do, that it was bigger than you, too hard for you, not possible for you. I want you to look at that and how you did it. What did you do? How did you do it? What discomfort were you willing to feel and why? Why were you willing to feel it? Remember, the nature of the thing that you did not change. Your capacity changed. Your capacity to handle the discomfort. Sometimes it's the capacity to allow the discomfort of being bad at something until we're good at something. So it's the willingness to have a conversation that we really walk away from going, well, mess that one up. That didn't go the way I thought it would. But guess what? You showed up. You were willing to be in the room and have the conversation, right? So give yourself credit for that. And then you can learn from it. What did I learn? What worked here? What didn't work? What will I do a little bit differently next time? You're checking in with yourself. I want you to learn, when did you do this? Learn from yourself. Learn from your own wisdom. You have done this before. It might not have been around this particular issue, but you've done it before. It is worth the discomfort, friends. Leaning into this discomfort is changing the way that you view yourself. It's changing the way you view what is possible for you, whether you stay married or not. If you can lean into discomfort, there is nothing that you could want that you cannot have. You get to create a more honest version of yourself all along the way, a version of yourself that you love, that you know that you can trust, and that you know is willing to lean into the discomfort to create a life that feels the most authentic and true to you. That, my friends, is power. It takes courage, it takes strength, it takes humility to ask those tough questions. I know you've got those things in you. Lean into that discomfort. It is worth it on the other side. All right. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for being here. I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast. If you would like to be kept in the know about upcoming free classes, new podcast episodes, and other ways of working with me, go subscribe to my weekly email. You can subscribe at AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. Again, it's AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. I will see you next time.